Hello my dear friends, welcome to my channel or welcome back. My name is Sarita. I have a root candle haul for you today. They have a mini collection at Root Candle called Comforts of Home. And this Comforts of Home mini collection has 5 different scents in it. And there are 2 main sizes, one of which is a 12 ounce. This is a 12 ounce and it's got a double wick. I'm sorry, I should turn this right side up for you. Double wick, and they are wood. So similar to like wood wick. So it's a wood double wick. This is a 12 ounce. And then they also have an 8 ounce, which looks like this. And this has a single wick. All right. So these are the vessels that they come in. It's kind of a beautiful, like a matte ceramic. They're really pretty and they come in these gorgeous colors. So here's 2 of them. There's 5 of them. This one, a gray color and a black color, and also a brushed white color here. And as you can tell, the little like dust protector there says Comforts of Home, and it's got this like, you know, clip art like house right there. And all of them have kind of like a two word fragrance name basically. So this one is Connect and Strengthen. These are all, I would say that they're just pretty like basic or foundational kind of candles. And obviously Root has, these are kind of more, I think they would be called more design-like vessels, in that they are more about how it looks in your house. And if you have a certain kind of aesthetic that these would go nicely with, there's something like subtle but also classy. There's not an obvious name of the company. You know, obviously it's down here on the bottom, but this is much more about having something that looks beautiful in your house and gives you like a fairly basic kind of fragrance. So these fragrances don't necessarily like blow your mind or think outside the box necessarily, but they're a really good range of just kind of basic candles for your house. None of them are particularly seasonal per se, but I would say that most of them lean a little bit on the outdoorsy side or a little bit earthier, botanical kind of side of things, which is really nice. And maybe with the wood wick element, they are kind of going for something which is like very cozy. Yes, you could burn these at other seasons other than cold weather seasons, but I think they're especially good for obvious reasons in the cold winter months. I actually fired one of them up, which is Purify and Cleanse. I don't know if you can see that. The wick is burned a little bit. Here is a video of me burning this candle up. It actually burned really nicely and it took pretty well. You just kind of, I have an electronic lighter and it lit fine because I'm not like terribly practiced with wood wicks. Not shown on that clip though is the 3 times that it went out before it finally started burning properly. So it lit fine, it liked the wood, but then when it like got down to the wax, it was like, what? No. And it would just like peter out, you know? And I would light it and then it would be like, no. So then like 3 or 4 times it finally caught and it was like, okay, fine. It's a candle, it's wax, I'll deal with it, you know? And then it was fine from there on out. So just know that it might like burn out a couple times as you're initially starting a candle, but then it was fine after that. As with wood wick, there's a little bit of crackling and popping, but I get the sense, and I'm not very like practiced with wood wick. I'm not very experienced with them, but my sense is that the wood wick candles have a more pronounced snap, crackle, and pop. These had a very subtle one. You had to kind of be close to it, and then there was a little bit of like, you know, coziness, but I wouldn't say that it was like so obvious that it would be something you noticed in your house. And especially if you were trying to burn them in like April or something, I don't know that there's anything about that little static noise that would necessarily seem only seasonal to like a fall period or a bonfire or something like that. So Let's talk about the fragrances, shall we? Okay, so obviously, as you've seen, a couple of these I got in the 2 wicks. And the reason for that is very simple. I actually encountered these at my local grocery store, which is Wegmans. It's more of a higher end one. And for a little bit, they had this particular series. And I noticed at Wegmans every like 2 months or 3 months, they clear all the candles out and bring in whole new ones, which is kind of fun. And sometimes it'll be a different candle company, a different set, etc. So, and if you're lucky and they haven't sold like completely well, then when they like clearance them off, they're 50% off. So these were all 50% off. They were clearing them out. And I got all these 50% off. And these two, I not only liked the fragrance, but they were available in these 2 wicks. These other ones though were only available in the single wick. And this one might have been available in the 2, but I didn't love it so much. I wanted to keep it together as a collection, so I went ahead and got it. But I got it in the single wick because it is probably almost certainly not going to be one that I would repurchase. Okay, so that's the reason why the different size ones. I haven't tried the double, but I will tell you that the price difference between the 2 is negligible. So the 8-ounce regular price with the single wick is $24.99. I would wait for a sale, and or buy it off Amazon because you can get them off Amazon. And then the double wick, which is 12 ounce, gives you like 4 ounces more, is $26.99. So it's a $2 difference. If you feel confident about the fragrance or discover that you like it, I don't think that there's any reason why you shouldn't go for the 2 wick and the larger diameter and the extra 4 ounces. And I noticed on Amazon that there were a couple times where like the cost of the double wick was actually a little bit lower than the single wick. So just watch that, especially on Amazon, because you know how prices fluctuate and sometimes it doesn't make sense. So if at all possible, I would probably spring for the 2 wick. Okay. Close parentheses. Let's talk about the fragrances. We will start with Rest and Recharge. Looks like this. This is our black one right here. And obviously this is just kind of a dust catcher here, and it's starting to get a little discolored with wax oil, but that's okay. I'll probably leave it on there until I burn it. Okay, so Rest and Recharge, which is our black one. Then there are fancy blurbs on these rather than scent notes. So I'll read the fancy blurb. The fancy blurb for Rest and Recharge is restful notes of Mediterranean lavender and warm cedar interwoven with the recharging earthiness of crushed hemp, nestled with dew-covered moss and cozy amber. That's a lot. But as you can tell, it's a very like earthy kind of scent. And yes, it is. Oh, this is lovely. Yes, if you breathe deep, you can get a touch of lavender, but it is a lot of cedar and maybe some hemp and maybe some moss and maybe some amber, but I'll tell you what the note is here that is unlisted, which is vanilla. This is a vanilla candle. It's pretty sweet. And it's got all that earthiness, and it actually reminds me a great deal of a candle that I just reviewed, which is also root, which is tobacco vanilla. And with the tobacco and with the hemp, that could be why this candle is a very strong vanilla, wood, earth, hemp, moss kind of candle, but it's suffused with that like really caramelized vanilla, which could be like a vanilla with the amber, that resinous, yeah. Oh my gosh, it's beautiful, and it's so perfect for fall. Oh, gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. So I'm really glad that I got this in the 2, and I will definitely be burning this one up seasonally right now because it is so amazing and beautiful. I think a lot of you would love this candle. Even those of you who are like not so much into the earthy stuff, I think that vanilla would really like sell it for you. Really beautiful. Kind of a marshmallow fireside kind of feel, but maybe a little bit more sophisticated and a little bit more complex. Yeah? Okay, Purify and Cleanse. Let's do that one next. This is our white, and this one I have burned a little bit. This is the one I like least. Ooh, a little bit of fallout there. It's okay. It's wood. It's actually charred. All right, so I would say that this is the men's cologne of the collection. It really smells like a men's aftershave or shower gel, something like that. So Purify and Cleanse, the blurb is purifying elements of grapefruit, resilient guaiac wood, melding with calming lavender, violet leaf, and cleansing aquatic notes. And I would say, though it's a fairly generic men's cologne, so those purifying elements of grapefruit, that's like your bergamot note. There's a certain standard profile for a men's cologne. You have these kind of sharp citrus notes combined with something that's like woody and musky, basically. And this definitely fits into that profile. So don't think that it's like grapefruit in terms of like an authentic, fresh kind of grapefruit forward fragrance. Those citrus notes are just there to kind of brighten up what is essentially a men's cologne. Okay, so yeah, it's aquatic. And I do think I'm getting a little bit of the lavender too. So this smells very much kind of like a marine men's shower gel with some herbal elements. And of course the wood in there too, but I would say it's a pretty standard men's cologne. This reminds me of Bath & Body Works has a men's fragrance. I think it's called Ocean, but I could be wrong about it. And it's nice. And it's kind of a men's aquatic marine like cologne smell. And this reminds me a little bit of that. Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, it's fresh. It's not a terrible men's cologne, but if you're not a men's cologne kind of person, and for me, it's probably not innovative enough. And as much as I like masculine stuff, I tend to like more of the like not body care-ish kind of men's fragrances. This is a little bit too like personal fragrance for me personally, but if you like this kind of stuff, I think you would really like this candle. This is Purify and Cleanse, and I would say that this is kind of an all-season candle. You could definitely burn it in the cooler weather, but you could also burn it at any time, the way that Ocean could be from Bath & Body Works. All right, let's go with Rejuvenate and Clarify, which is this beautiful brushed kind of sage green color. Ooh, so apropos to the fragrance. Okay, so the fragrance here, the blurb says, the rejuvenating allure of luminous blue sage and aquatic water blossom, swirled with clarifying marine seagrass, infused with zesty citrus fruit and sweet hints of sun-blushed cyclamen. So that's a lot. We've got sage, aquatic, marine seagrass, zesty citrus, and frankly, that sounds a lot like it's going in this direction, like it could be a very generic men's cologne, but this one is not, and it's not anywhere similar to this one, because this one is primarily floral and botanical. It's botanical. So think when it says marine seagrass, think grass, yeah? I would say it almost smells like vines too, you know? It's a green vine kind of candle, very green, which is why I said that like the color was beautiful for it. Yes, there is something aquatic about it, like in an ozone-y kind of way. Aquatic with the botanical green, and it's very like fresh and dewy smelling. So I think this one would actually be great in the spring going into summer. Oh, yes, that's beautiful. Like maybe May, something like that, June. Although it's a beautiful green. It's more green and vine-like than like floral, which means that it actually could go for a lot of seasons. But I would wait on this one for more warmer months. Frankly, when your garden is starting to grow really beautiful, maybe a spring. I'm going with that. Let's go with another one, which I think is a spring one. And it's this beautiful, like millennial, cool girl millennial blush brushed. Both of these are the spring ones. Look how gorgeous those colors are for spring. Yes. All right, so this one is Flourish and Bloom. And from that name, you probably could guess that this is going to be like your floral one. Oh, it is. It's fruity though. It's a fruity floral. This reminds me a little bit of some of Harry Slatkin's like tropical ones where he's got like the freesia that smells kind of like a melon pop. This is in that kind of category, like a floral that leans a little bit tropical with some fruit overtones. Okay, so Flourish and Bloom, the blurb is a lush blooming bouquet of pink hibiscus petals and flowering jasmine, flourished with hints of sweet peach, juicy melon, and warm coconut wood. Oh, there might be something a little like woody on the bottom that's grounding it, but I would say that you're not going to smell either coconut or wood, but you do get that really juicy like melon peach kind of pop. But it's not an artificial or synthetic melon peach. I mean, it's a real like kind of authentic fruit pop. And it blends perfectly in with those floral elements, which is your jasmine and your hibiscus. And man, all of those elements could go really overwhelming, but they are just beautiful. I mean, it is a kiss. It is a floral and fruity kiss. And it's perfect for this color and really, really lovely. And I'm the kind of person who probably wouldn't like a candle like this because it's a sweet candle and it's fruity and floral. And while I don't mind some fruity and floral, this is your more traditionally feminine as opposed to this one, which is like a hard masculine. But in the case of this one goes very generic. This one does not. I mean, it's really just lovely. Oh gosh, it's gorgeous. I think a lot of you would really like this. These are your two spring candles with the green vine and with a little bit of floral and fruit. Amazing. And actually they would probably smell really great in connection with each other. Okay, and then our last one here is the slate gray, and this is another seasonal one for the season that we're currently in. This one is Connect and Strengthen right here. And this one is a single wick. All right, so the blurb here says aromatic notes of cypress, fresh fir needles, strengthened by restorative notes of eucalyptus, and invigorating rosemary. So you can kind of tell that we are going back into that fall season here. Yes. Oh, again, beautifully blended, just like that floral candle. So this one, absolutely you are getting those fresh fir needles. So it's just kind of that traditional cypress, kind of coniferous tree smell. I apologize. We're kind of on a very busy corner here and a lot of trucks go through. Yes to the fir needles. I would say that that's probably the predominant note here, but it's not biting. It's very soft and brushed, kind of like this brushed ceramic. And then yes, there are notes of eucalyptus, but if you don't love eucalyptus, and frankly, I am one of those people, do not worry about this. This eucalyptus note is so soft and quiet and supporting cast. So if you really smell for it, yes, it is kind of shyly underneath those fresh fir needles, and it's providing a coolness, as in kind of a cool fall day, but it's not so biting or obvious that like it's overwhelmed by eucalyptus. Really, it's the fresh fir needles that are coming across front and center, and then just a little bit of coolingness. I would love for there to be more rosemary, but I'm not really smelling a whole lot of rosemary. Might come out upon being burned. And there's something sweet. I want to say it's vanilla again. Like a vanilla note on the bottom. That again is kind of airbrushing everything and sweetening it. And yeah, I would say for the most part, although many of these, like this one, do lean kind of outdoorsy because of the sweetness and the vanilla undertones of many of these, especially these two candles. These are fragrances that I think everyone would like. And if you're a marshmallow fireside kind of girl, I just think you would really like these two candles. So I haven't burned either of them. This is just like a first impression, but I'm gonna burn these really soon, and I'll do a duo review of these two here for the fall season because they are fantastic. Basically, they're both vanillas, both vanilla, wood, or pine kind of candles, which I know a lot of you can get behind. This one's a little stronger. and it's a little pepperier, a little bit woodier and smokier, like Marshmallow Fireside. This one is a little bit more muted, and it has to do with the vanilla and the pine needles or the fir needles. Yeah. So no smoke, less wood per se, more about that greenery, which is also really, really nice. So I'm going to fire these up, and I really highly recommend them, at least unless and until I burn them and something goes like terribly wrong. This is the one of the 5 that is just kind of generic. It's your marine ocean men's cologne kind of thing, if that's what you're into. And I wouldn't say that it necessarily feels seasonal to any particular time. And then these 2 are strongly your spring candles with the green vine and the floral and fruit. I think it's beautiful. I actually think all 4 of them are just very thoughtful in the way that they are blended. And so I know while at the beginning I said that they were basic, I think that was probably unfair. They're more than basic, and a little bit unexpected for candles which are under the heading comforts of home. Like, they've avoided the whole like very obvious like cinnamon and like cinnamon roll kind of thing, you know, and sandalwood. They don't have like a vanilla sandalwood, which, don't get me wrong, I love vanilla sandalwood, but like cashmere, those are the kinds of things that you would expect in a basic comforts of home kind of set. And instead, I'm impressed that they really lean botanical and outdoorsy for the most part, which you wouldn't expect. They've got a lovely aesthetic, especially for those of you who care about that. And they're kind of cool with like the wooden wicks, which does kind of invoke a little bit of coziness. So I would say definitely fall leaning and spring, especially early spring leaning, maybe with those wood wicks. Yeah. And there's a very like kind of shy quality about them in some ways. So it would be great for that early spring region where like everything is maybe thinking about blooming, but we're not in those high months of bloom, you know, and fruit, like in an in-your-face kind of way. So yeah, that's what I've got for you. Look for the 2 reviews on these relatively soon. I'm probably going to put this one away, and these will come out in the spring. Thank you so much, my friends. Look for them obviously on the Root Candle website, but also I've seen them on Amazon, and they may also be other places as well. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll catch you in the next one.